This podcast is not intended to provide any investment advice. The opinions expressed here by either the hosts or guests do not necessarily reflect the views of PSA, Collectors Holdings, or any of their affiliates. Any discussion of collectible values in the past or present is not a guarantee of future performance.
Hello and welcome to Hit Draft. My name is Ryan Green, and I'm here with Jack Archer and Chris McGill. Hit Draft cracks open the collector's psyche, showcasing the layers of intricacies and decision-making that go into building a collection. Here's how it goes down. First, a small assortment of PSA graded cards are revealed by our producer, each a mystery to the hosts.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Uh-oh.
Next, we draft and explain which cards we're taking and why we're taking them.
I'm taking the Superfractor, even though you said what you said.
So Jack, what do we have lined up today?
It's fantasy football season. I got my first of 4 drafts tomorrow. Everyone's thinking about fantasy football, and nothing goes together with football season kicking off, prospecting, and football cards. So we have some recently graded football cards based on some of the top players on the Ringers Fantasy Football 2023 rankings.
And in true hobby fashion, we went all quarterbacks here.
Of course.
So because the quarterbacks drive the hobby. And, you know, before we start, I got to ask, does your collection and cards you have influence the way you draft in fantasy? Someone posed this question to me a couple weeks ago, and I never really thought about it.
It does, but not the way you think.
Yeah.
I don't like to draft Justin Herbert because I'm so invested in him emotionally, financially, because I have some nice Justin Herbert cards. I don't need the added stress of how he's going to perform in fantasy added to it. So I actually try to avoid it rather than double down and get more Justin Herbert in every single draft.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. It's a hedge. You go against your PC when you're drafting in fantasy. But it's brutal when the guy you're rooting against has someone from your PC and all of a sudden your loyalties are kind of divided. Do you want your fantasy team to win or do you want your PC to win?
So 3rd round, Christian McCaffrey, somehow he's still there. You're not choosing him. As Christian McCaffrey's biggest collector, you're still not choosing him?
Me personally, all right, I know that this is not super smart or safe, but I will take McCaffrey. I will double down. I'll triple down. I'll go all in. If I can get him in all my leagues, I will.
With everything going on in San Francisco, there's a chance that he could have the best statistical season of any fantasy football running back ever. There's so much goodness on that team and that offensive system that it wouldn't surprise me if he stays healthy, everything clicks. Like, there is that level of upside.
Knock on wood, baby. Or Elijah Mitchell will just eat up half of the points and McCaffrey will average 15. One or the other.
The only question is, are they set at quarterback?
Oh, wouldn't Trey Lance have been a terrific option if like Purdy was a fluke and maybe Darnold isn't so great? I don't know what they're doing.
Darnold is Darnold.
If maybe Darnold isn't so great.
Well, we ask because, once again, we're focusing on the quarterbacks here. These are the top 12 quarterbacks from the Ringers Fantasy Football 2023 rankings. Drew has curated the cards. We're going to unveil them here, and then we're going to take a little bit of a break while we make our draft strategies amongst the 3 of us, and then we go ahead and pick them. So, Drew, without further ado, let's get it started.
Bowman, you.
Yeah.
Kicking things off.
And oddly enough, when I looked at the rankings of the top 12 guys, I was shocked to see that Anthony Richardson is one of them.
The upside there is really, really big. And if you think of the guys that are like taken after him, like the Kirk Cousins of the world, even like a Geno Smith, what Anthony Richardson can do with his legs, how athletic he is, I mean, it's kind of worth taking a flyer on. What is interesting, though, do you take a flyer on Bowman U first? It is a college uni. It does have the first badge. Personally, not for me. But in 10 years, 20 years, these are like a huge thing and everybody prefers them over their true rookie card. Wouldn't surprise me whatsoever.
Yeah, I love that Topps brought the first Bowman badge into the Bowman U product with college football and college basketball stars. And like you said, opens up an interesting opportunity. This is the 2022 Bowman U 1-of-1 non-auto Superfractor of Anthony Richardson. So it is a college uni, but this is about as good of a college uni card as you're going to get of him. PSA 9. And, you know, we should point out that here we sit about to head into September. This is really the best of the options out there right now because all of the flagship rookie stuff hasn't started hitting the market yet.
We have Mosaic releasing in September, Donruss. There's going to be some cards out pretty quickly. I would love if Prism just dropped like the week before kickoff. Would make me so incredibly happy. Maybe 1 year.
All right. Next up. We got Danny Dimes, who is in the top 12 this year. This is a really nice card. This is a 2019 Panini Contenders Optic teal autograph, dual graded PSA 9 10 auto. This is numbered. I'm going to have to look it up to see what it's numbered out of. I know last year the teal was out of 35, so this is a pretty limited card. What do we make of this?
Is this a color match?
Kind of.
Are we going to stretch this one?
I mean, I guess you can.
Okay.
I think so. It looks great.
It does look good. Good looking card. I see we've got the Daniel Jones card letter index up there showing that his market, what's that, over the last year, it is up, what, about 50%, 40 to 50%?
It's popping. Wow. I knew it was up, but seeing that graph there's a lot of Daniel Jones believers right now.
I guess so. I guess the Daniel Jones hype is real. You know, here's the thing about the NFC, and here's the thing that recommends itself most strongly about Daniel Jones, in addition to the card. Who are the best 3 quarterbacks in the NFC? You got Jalen Hurts.
It's really thin.
And if this was the AFC, I would be terrified. But in the NFC, you know, Hurts, I think, is the clear number 1. And then when you got Stafford coming back, Dak Prescott, Danny Dimes is not so far off from being at the top of the pecking order there. So I don't know. This is a fun bet. This is a bet on the Giants, is what this is.
I'm really quick. I was wrong. This one is from 2019. This is out of 149.
Quick card question. True Contenders or Contenders Optic? What's your choice?
True.
I typically say true, though there's been a couple of years recently where I think the Optic looks far better. Like the 2021 Contenders, I thought the Optic looked far better than the paper.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And when it comes out of the box, those boxes just have a few cards in them. That just feels so premium. But here's what I love about Contenders. It's conceptual, but it's one of the few remaining cards that upholds the paper card tradition and that gives you the shine that you want through foil rather than through refractor, prismatic technology. I like it for that reason. It's unique and they still look great, and it's the OG.
I agree with you. I've always been a Contenders Optic believer, but the more I advance in my collecting journey, the more I like the OG Contenders. One thing I think about, though, is for so long in baseball, it was Topps paper over Topps chrome, and then it flipped. And I wonder eventually if it might flip here too.
Yeah, it's a fair point. But you have the lineage to the Brady. I mean, I love Contenders. All right. Dak.
All right. So the other quarterback you mentioned in the NFC East, along with Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott. This is the 2016 Flawless rookie auto out of 25, PSA 9. I mean, this is a beautiful card. This is early Flawless. I want to say this was the 3rd year that the product existed.
Are we counting down? So like Anthony Richardson was 12 overall in the Ringer rankings. Okay, we are. So I'm surprised Dak is ranked this high, but I mean, the Dallas offense is pretty high flying.
Yeah, you're gonna have to live with him throwing interceptions. I think we've all just made the peace with that, but he puts up big numbers. He really does, and he's got elite weapons.
2016, not a lot of Dak cards out there in terms of population of like, you know, the big important cards like his Prism rookie, but just in general, less sets, less production. So this Flawless rookie sits a lot differently than other Flawless quarterback rookie cards.
Would love if it had the auto grade too.
Yeah, that auto looks really nice. This card is pop 1 with only 2 graded higher.
That's a tough card. Very tough card. The blue auto against the blue Cowboys uniform is nice.
All right. This one's obviously, you know, in the hobby, it's a little bit polarizing. This is the Deshaun Watson 2017 Contenders Cracked Ice PSA 8 Auto 10 it's crazy. It feels so long, like it was so long ago that he was playing for the Texans. What do we make of his prospects here this year? This is obviously cracked ice in contenders just really hits different and has a really, really high place in the hobby. Do we think the rust got knocked off and the Browns are, he could really bounce back this year?
Well, I haven't heard the name Deshaun Watson in the news for the last few months, maybe even going on a year. That's good. That's where I want to be. Hopefully that means head down, focusing on football, and he's going to come out hot because he was not very good last year.
2 quick thoughts. The cracked ice contenders looks incredible with our premium imaging.
Mm-hmm.
2, one of my favorite things about 2017 contenders football, the black auto. I know there's reasons to like the blue auto, the boldness. It tends to last longer if exposed to certain elements. But the black auto on these 2017 contender rookie tickets, to me, just like hits another note.
Yep, totally. This is and the cracked ice effect with that red background behind him on the image. Really, really nice card. All right, this is your guy, Jack. We got the T-Law 2021 Prism Manga PSA 10. This is not only an awesome card, this is a very hard to find card.
These manga inserts are incredible. I think they're going to age really well. We've seen how like anime and anime art has skyrocketed in the United States and will continue to skyrocket. What's most interesting to me about these Prism case hit inserts is that they're not going to have the NFL license for much longer. There's a lot of drama and legal news, which we won't get into between them and Fanatics right now. But regardless of that, within a couple years, it's going to revert back to Topps and Fanatics. So the limited window of some of these super rare case hit inserts, to me, I think they're going to age incredibly. And personally, I love how adventurous this art is. It looks incredible. I'm a huge fan of the mangas.
How shiny is it in person?
Very.
Saw
Brady in person and it was amazing. And the coolest thing to me about this manga set because they introduced it in 2021 Prism, they only had 2 rookies in the checklist, Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. That was it. The rest are veterans. So I think there's there's a little bit more of an added premium on it here as well. This is pop 20 as a PSA 10. But like Jack was saying, these are hard to find. They don't surface often. Really cool card.
Justin Herbert, Contenders autograph ticket. I mean, this is as classic as it gets. I'll tell you why this card isn't for me, though. Not the most recent national, but 2 nationals ago, I saw what felt like hundreds of this exact card at every dealer table. And it turned me off in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
The value is still quite high. It hasn't changed much since that moment a year ago. But to me, just seeing a card like that everywhere just makes it so much less desirable for me. So I'm looking elsewhere with my Justin Herbert PC. Spoiler alert for the draft.
Go ahead.
I will say, we talk about the classic just lineage of contenders. This is one of those rare sets. Like when there's a bunch of parallels available, I love to try to get to like the rarest I can find. Contenders is one of the few exceptions for me in the hobby where like that base paper ticket auto just takes me back to the early 2000s when these were first becoming a thing. And it has some appeal for me. And I mean, his auto on the card is amazing. He takes care with his auto every time. It's really nice. I don't know if this will be a top half of the draft pick target for me, but this is definitely a card I like.
Yeah, I had a thought that was similar to that one, Ryan, which is that I do agree with Jack that this card loses a lot of its luster because it's so readily available. But that is true for cards of this type, which are true rookie cards. So this card is numbered to the base set, and it is not a parallel. This is, as far as I can tell without having the checklist in front of me, I believe this is Justin Herbert's true rookie card from Contenders. And for it to only have a population of 134 and a PSA 10, this is a nod to especially purist collectors and earlier generations who really care about the true rookie card designation, because the other cards we've had so far are amazing. They're more rare. I personally would desire many of them more, but none of them have been true rookie cards except for this one. So that's a nice appeal of this one.
You're making me kind of want it a little bit. So the 2020 contender set, I love the 2000 throwback to the Brady rookie year design. The Burrow, the Herbert, the Hurts, it all looks so good.
Next up, we got the fellow 2020 draftee, Joe Burrow. Doesn't sound like he's going to be on the field to start the regular season, but the hype is there for this team. This is a 2020 Donruss Optic Downtown PSA 10. I mean, Downtown in a PSA 10 just does it for me. The pop is only 97, which is a little surprising because this is one of those inserts that I think in the last couple of years they've really upped the production of. You're seeing a lot of them get hit more often out of retail products. But this card still commands a premium. Last sold price per card ladder was $4,400 for this card in a PSA 10.
The art is awesome. Yeah. Downtown for me can be a little hit and miss just based on the art that they go with. But
Agreed.
For here, the tigers in the background, it's adventurous. It feels like a little, reckless and fast and loose, which is a little bit how Joe Burrow plays out there because he's such a gunslinger. I dig this card. I'm not a giant Downtown fan, but this one is working for me.
Oh, the number 5 quarterback in the Ringers fantasy football rankings. This is, Chris, it's funny when you talk about like the best quarterbacks in the NFC, it's the question is like, are you talking about wins and losses and what they've done? Or are we talking about fantasy points? Because if we're talking about fantasy points, Justin Fields is a guy. This is his 2021 Prism Color Blast PSA 10, sort of in the same vein as the manga T-Law we saw, as far as just being a really nice, rare insert that is highly desired in the hobby. I'm a big Color Blast guy. I just think images, and for as beautiful as the images here, they don't do it justice.
Yeah. I am channeling the inner anxiety of non-collector, non-fantasy Chicago Bears fans who are very worried about Justin Fields right now. I just have to put it out there. This is going to influence my drafting, I think. I got a text from my dad, who's a Bears fan, about somebody named Secret Agent Man. That's how worried they are right now, that they're looking to this rookie QB from Shepherd University. And I'm like, okay, well, things are pretty dire in Justin Fields land. But if you look at the track record, if you look at what he did last season, if you compare, especially on the ground, his metrics against Michael Vick's best seasons, he is in elite all-time category already as a quarterback on the ground. So let's get some good play calls going this year. And by the way, yeah, it's a beautiful card.
He's got DJ Moore. He's got real weapons. I love watching this man play football. I love the charisma that he shows. And I love Color Blast. I think they're so beautiful. The one thing about Color Blast, it's really hard to tell the difference in design year to year.
Yeah.
I wish they tried to level things up, remix something so you could easily tell, oh, that's a 2021 Color Blast, or oh, that's a 2019 Color Blast. They feel a little too samey, so I worry long-term how coveted they are when it's essentially the same insert over multiple years.
I'm going to call out one thing about this card that has kept me from trying to add one to my PC. I'm very annoyed by cards that feature images of players that are not actual NFL game images, but in NFL uniforms. This is an Ohio State photo where he's photoshopped into a Bears uniform. So the collector OCD in me there has kept me away from this card, but it is sick. Talk about a guy with some pressure on him this year. Lamar Jackson just signed the big deal back in Baltimore. This is the 2018 Contenders 20th anniversary rookie ticket auto, PSA 8. What a cool, just classic design on this. I believe this is throwing back to the 98 Contenders, which was the first year that rookie ticket autos were introduced.
With that iconic Peyton Manning in it.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. You never see those pages.
They almost don't even exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never see this Lamar Jackson
No,
either.
exactly.
This is, I'm a PSA 10 snob for the most part, but seeing the PSA 8 grade with the giant number 8 that he adds to his signature, it's kind of cohesive. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, this design, this is you were mentioning, Jack, the throwback tickets, especially for those late 90s, early 2000s contender sets.
Yeah,
these hit different.
This is a great card.
The reigning MVP, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl champion Patrick Mahomes. We've got a 2017 select field level silver prism PSA 10. This is not an easy card to find. The pop is 111 on it, but you don't see these popping up often. A lot of these are in PCs and stashed away, honestly, as investments. It's a really short printed parallel from that year.
This is definitely something that you would just throw in your GOAT box and feel really happy with.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful card.
Yeah, that card is outstanding. Yeah, select field level and courtside silvers and whatever their analogs are in UFC and soccer. I'm not sure what they are off the top of my head, but I know that for a period there in the late 2010s, these were grails. These were so coveted. It was the understanding of how short printed the base versions are, and the silver hype only piled on top of that. They definitely have fallen out of favor in recent times, but I think that there's a nostalgia for the field level and the court side and their analogs in the other sports as well. That's going to age really well with these. Patrick Mahomes is number 3.
I know.
What? I can't believe that. I would draft him over any QB.
Yeah, this is a beautiful card. Would you rather this with a lower pop than his Prism Silver rookie card?
Yeah, this is an actual parallel. That's the one thing that keeps throwing me off from his Prism rookie is that the silver is the base.
Right.
I think the silver being a true parallel here just makes this more attractive to me. Ooh. So number 2, Josh Allen. And this is just an amazing card. This is a 2018 Prism, blue Prism, true color match, PSA 10. And I mean, color match in every way. Look at he's got the blue jersey on in the photo shoot photo, the high blue socks. I mean, this thing pops.
It's a stunning card. So blue in basketball is numbered out of 199. For football recently, it's been a super short print you could find only in retail products. I'm assuming in 2018, because the pop is only pop 9, also a super short print.
Yeah, this was not a numbered parallel, but yeah, like you said, the population data tells you everything you need to know in terms of how hard these were to find.
Yeah, the manufacturers will always do this to some extent, even though numbering I don't think has ever been more desired than it is now. They love whether it's the retail blue and Prism or the tiger stripe or other similar super short prints that we as collectors don't know how many were made. And we always tend to err on the side of thinking there's fewer than there are.
Mm-hmm.
And so the manufacturer loves that because they get to make more than we think exist, which, benefits them quite a bit. But the pop speaks for itself. It's been 5 years, still just a pop 9. Probably not too many PSA 10s rolling off the presses.
So who's the number 1 guy? Jalen Hurts. And the card we're going with here, 2019 Select. One of my favorite cards of every rookie quarterback is the XRC. It's the true first card in the pro uniform rookie card, typically done by Redemption. 2019 Select, 2020 XRC tie-dye of Jalen Hurts.
Numbered to 25.
Mm-hmm.
Tie-dye is one of my favorite parallels across all modern card products. I love this card.
It's a beautiful card. Numbered to 25 is so appealing for this card, especially just sort of looking at the menu that Drew very carefully curated here. That's very appealing. And then I'm looking at his index here over the last year as well. I wonder when he went to the Super Bowl. There's a big peak.
Where's that big bump? Late January.
There's a big super. And I thought he was brilliant in the Super Bowl. I thought that absent the fumble at the end of the of the second quarter, I thought he went toe-to-toe with Mahomes.
He had a case to be the MVP of that game, which
did.
is like crazy when you look at his numbers. Good. And, you mentioned the card ladder index, which is really fascinating here is, there was that huge spike right around the Super Bowl. Then, of course, it falls off a cliff, as that just happens going into the early postseason. But look at that steady climb from like late April in the draft all the way up to now, where he's reaching back to where he was at the beginning of the playoffs. I think that's really cool because I feel like one of the things I heard in the hobby community and among football collectors all offseason was, look how underpriced Jalen Hurts cards are. But, clearly people were listening because those have ticked up pretty significantly in just the last 3 months. Well, we're going to take a break here for just a second. We've got 12 stunners here of 12 top QBs. We're going to draft them. Talk about why when we come back here on the PSA Pod. Hey guys, jumping back in here for a second because while we talk about all of these top tier fantasy QBs and their incredible cards, I'd be kicking myself if I didn't also tell you about our September grading specials here at PSA, which are available now in our online submission center at psacard.com. And you might pick up on a theme here. Get your best lineup ready because kicking things off is our NFL special on all football cards manufactured between 2000 and 2023. During the month of September, you can send in yours to grade at just $15.99 per card. Got autos that also need grading in those piles for the NFL special? Well, our dual service special is also available for $29.99 per card this month. Those two specials are exclusive for our Collectors Club members, but 4 others we're launching will not require any membership. Those include our Express special for $99.99 per card, Super Express at $199.99 per card. Then we round it out with our football ticket and football pack specials, both available for just $25.99 per item. So yeah, as you're getting your PC all lined up and in order ahead of the NFL regular season, along with those fantasy lineups, if you've got some raw gems just ready to be put in a PSA slab, we're making it as accessible as ever throughout the month of September. Visit psacard.com/specials to get full details on all 6 of these that I just blitzed through. And if you're not yet a Collectors Club member, visit psacard.com/join to become one today. And now back to the show. All right, we're back here on Hit Draft. We've got 12 cards of the top 12 fantasy quarterbacks in the Ringers 2023 rankings. We've gone through the cards. We've got the draft order. I'll be up first. Chris McGill second, Jack Archer third. We'll snake it back around. I think everybody's kind of worked up a little bit of a strategy here, and I'm going to kick it off. The one card I can't, we're looking at all 12 on the screen at once, and the one card I just can't stop looking at is the Josh Allen 2018 True Blue Prism. Pop, what did we say it was? Pop 9 as a PSA 10.
Yep,
I mean,
Pop 9.
It's not numbered, and you just look at the population data, and you can figure out the math right there. This is a rare card. The color match is just unbelievable. That's, yeah, I can't stop looking at it.
All right. That makes it easy for me because it was either that one or the one I'm going to take. Here's the thing about Select. I don't like how they keep adding levels. Too many levels. I think we're at 5 levels for
5
football
levels,
now.
yep.
5. So you've got Concourse, Premier, Field level,
Suite
level, and Club level, right?
Yeah.
I don't even think I didn't give them in the right order of rarity.
Field level
either.
is still the rarest.
Still the top dog.
But yeah, there's a lot now.
Well, you know what there's not a lot of from Select is those XRCs. And also, if I may air another grievance here, Festivus style with Select, too many one of ones on each level as well. There's usually like 2 or 3 or 4, but I think there's only one of one on the XRCs. I think there's only one true gold, and there's definitely only one tie-dye out of 25. So I love Select. I love how far back it goes in Panini's legacy product offerings. And I'm going with the Jalen Hurts. I'm rolling with the Hurts. I'm rolling with the Eagles. I think they got the NFC this year. And PSA 10 on top of that. Yeah, I'll take the Hurts XRC tied out of 25 PSA 10.
Some cards you stash, some cards you cash. The Anthony Richardson card is a card you cash. I'm taking that one. He's going to go off in the first few weeks. I'm going to send it off to Golden. My man Ken is going to be pumping videos about it. I'm going to get a fortune, and I'm going to take that money and just buy some Justin Herbert cards. That's my move. I don't love the Bowman U. I'm not a complete believer of a product, but I love Anthony Richardson's game, and it's a super fractor. As of right now, it's his very best play. There's going to be weeks, if not months, until some of his really good Colts uniform cards are readily available. This is the only right move at this stage in the draft.
I respect that. So what are we taking at number 4?
That's right. This is a snake draft, and I only prepared my first pick. So I thought
on the fly.
I thought financially on that last one. Now I'm going to think a little emotionally. I really like Trevor Lawrence. I like his game. I think he's going to have a big year, and I really like these manga inserts for reasons already stated. I'm going to grab this one. I don't own any Trevor Lawrence cards. Him and Justin Fields are two players where I'm like, man, am I making a mistake? How far could this go? I'm taking the Trevor Lawrence, taking the manga, taking the super short print, and taking something a little, I don't know. The hobby's kind of undecided on this as an insert set, but personally, I love the art. I love the idea. I'm going with that one.
Nice. All right. I'm going to wax a little bit poetic on the history of ultramodern football, the sport, not the hobby. There are some amazing quarterbacks right now who are going to age well. We're going to remember them for the moments and the statistical performances that they gave us. I'm thinking Joe Burrow. I'm thinking Justin Herbert. I'm thinking Jalen Hurts. I'm thinking MVP, youngest MVP in league history, Lamar Jackson. But when this era is over and the history is written, one name will tower over all the others.
Dak Prescott.
And that is that is Patrick Mahomes. 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 regular season MVPs, almost a lock to throw for over 5,000 yards, especially in the 17-game era. But I have to take the Mahomes field level silver PSA 10.
I was hoping you wouldn't.
It's a savvy play.
It is.
Your first 2 card choices are excellent, Chris.
Thank you, sir.
And
something about being in studio just brings the best out of me.
You know what, though? Like, going back to what you were saying about Select, something that really hits with this card, not only was this when there were still only 3 levels of Select, but this is also before there was a retail version of the product, and it was hobby exclusive. There was just much less of it readily available. You can find a million Joe Burrow Select cards from 2020, but finding these, not only just because of Mahomes, the player, and his performance and his prestige, but just finding these, period, it's not easy. So I really respect that. That was a really smart play, and I was kind of hoping that card might stay available, but there's no getting past super sharp in studio Chris. Right. So, I'm going to go, I don't know if this is predictable, but I'm going to go with the Lamar Jackson 2018 Contenders 20th anniversary throwback ticket, PSA 8 on card auto. I'm really, really bullish on the Ravens, just period. The weapons they have surrounded him with are just absurd. I think without the distraction of the contract negotiation hanging over everything, I think the Ravens are a super sleeper this year. When we talk about teams that could make a deep run and possibly be playing in Vegas in February. So this is a little bit more of like a short-term play, kind of like what Jack was alluding to, whereas this is a card that if he returns to MVP form and takes the Ravens deep, this could be a fun one to move in like February and then really reinvest it into other areas of my PC. I'm going to kind of just ride the moment here and go with Lamar Jackson.
The Ravens defense, not very good.
No, but
he's going to put up some numbers because they're going to win a lot of games like in the 40s rather than like these, 17-14 showdowns.
I think he's motivated. I think he's fired up. I'm going to stick with contenders here, and I'm going to take the Justin Herbert. I own no Justin Herbert cards. I'm constantly attracted to this card, his rookie ticket auto, plain, simple, traditional, really clean auto. I'm going to take this card. I'm going to resubmit it to PSA and get dual grade because that auto looks like a 10. I want to get the PSA 20. And that's the play here. I'm going with 2 contenders autos back to back, Chris.
Nice. And why not keep the contender streak alive? And let me take the Deshaun cracked ice. I'm going to say this. Deshaun is high risk, super high risk. Maybe he is incredible and returns to form for Cleveland. Maybe he doesn't. But I love the cracked ice parallel. When I first took an interest in collecting ultramodern football, my guy Josh Johnson, also on the Card Ladder team, said to me, these are the 3 football cards to focus on for any PC that you're starting with. Try and get the NTRPA out of 99, the Prism Gold out of 10, and the Contenders Cracked Ice out of what, I guess this one's out of 25, right?
Yeah, out of 25.
Yeah, out of 25. And that's always stuck with me. And I just, hey, hopefully Deshaun does well, but even if he doesn't, I've got a really nice looking card, a nice piece of cardboard history to look at.
I love that Josh Johnson piece of wisdom. It's like the Infinity Stones. I feel like we need to add 2 more to it. We have the Gold Prism. We have the Contenders Cracked Ice. We have the NTRPA. What would be the other 2 to have like the gauntlet of the best rookie cards of a football player?
Well,
and are we ruling out one of ones here?
Yeah, let's rule out one of ones.
Okay.
I would throw the Select XRC Gold
into
that mix.
That's a good one.
Those are really nice.
Optic Gold on card auto.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that as a way of not mimicking what we did with Prism, because Optic has those on card autos versus the stickers. I think that's a good play. Yeah. I like Optic having representation too.
Yep.
There you have it.
That's the Infinity Stones.
That's the gauntlet. Yeah. All right, I'm up now. And I'm very happy I'm up now because I'm taking Justin Fields. I love Color Blast. I love rare inserts. We went over this already. I feel pretty good right now because I'm walking away. Trevor Lawrence manga case hit, super rare insert PSA 10. Super rare case hit Prism insert, Justin Fields, Color Blast PSA 10. Some really fun high upside cards. And then just a mountain full of cash from when I sell to Anthony Richardson to buy some other stuff. I really like how this is working out for me.
So what are you going to supplement it with?
I'm going to balance it out with the Joe Burrow downtown. Just keep the insert streak riding. It's very much my favorite card on the board left. I'm not a Dak Prescott fan. Daniel Jones, I love his hustle and everything, but it's hard for me to get over the fact that he shows up to every NFL game looking like a second grader on his first day of school. I think he's just going to kind of like fade away. He's not going to be like, he's not going to be in the broadcast booth. He's not going to be someone that like has a high level of collectability 10 to 15, 20 years now. It's important, like think of if King Griffey Jr. didn't have the backwards hat and all the style and just kind of like kept to himself and all of that. Like it really, really matters when we're talking about that. Joe Burrow, on the other hand, I mean, the guy's cool as the other side of the pillow. This is a great card, great player. And all 3 of these are all inserts, but they're all rookie cards too, which I think is fun.
Well, I don't know how I make this pick after Jack just cast the Joe Burrow shadow so long over Daniel Jones, but I'm taking the Danny Dimes anyway. I think it's a nice looking card. I want, we were talking Contenders Optic. I don't like it as much as Contenders for historical reasons, primarily, and just the shortness of the product's lifespan to date. But man, when you open a box of Contenders Optic, those cards just, they feel premium. They look amazing. They shine really well. And I'm going with the Danny Dimes. And I like Danny Dimes as a wild card to do something impressive in the NFC this year. I mean, they beat the Vikings in the playoffs last year, which was not nothing. So let's go Danny Dimes, Saquon Barkley, old coach, I forget his name now.
Oh, Dable.
Dable, the quarterback whisperer. Let's go. Give me Danny Dimes, pick 11.
So I feel like when I made my last pick, I had a feeling I was going to be ending up with this card at number 12. This is the Dak Prescott 2016 Flawless that I'm choosing, but I'm more left with. But I'm okay with that because, I mentioned the whole thing with Lamar Jackson. Like, this is a card where if he does something big, I can move it later on. I'm happy with having a Dak Prescott card because I know he's a good NFL quarterback. And if that team can make a run, selling cards of Dallas Cowboys stars means you get that Dallas Cowboys premium attached to it. Like we talk about with the Yankees in baseball and the Lakers in basketball, they have that team premium on there. So I'm fine, holding out hope here that Dak can make a deep run and give me a good chance to cash this out into something else.
Speaking of
at the end,
the Cowboys premium, which I do think is a real thing, and like the ultra modern cards are just waiting for that player to deliver. Do you know who the highest selling Cowboys player of all time is card wise? This is a bit of a trick question.
Are we talking about individual sale?
Individual sale.
A bit of a trick question.
Yeah. He's got like 6 or 8 of the highest sales of a Cowboys player ever. I'll give you one clue. The cards do not depict him in a Cowboys uniform, but he is a Cowboy. And he joined the team very recently.
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance.
Wow.
Is the highest selling Cowboy.
That's insane.
Yeah. That the Cowboys are just waiting on that guy that they can make their 6-figure homegrown athlete. But until then, Trey Lance.
Drew and I were doing some research for this Dallas market thing, like just a few days ago, about top selling Dallas Cowboys cards. Dak's prices are super low.
Oh, it's amazing.
Nothing with CeeDee Lamb is crazy. Micah Parsons is kind of like the biggest star, but for a franchise as big as it is, you look at the Lakers and it's like, like everybody wanted Kyle Kuzma cards for a minute. Everybody, with good reason, wants Austin Reeves cards right now. With the Cowboys, not exactly the case. People aren't like lining up to get some like Tony Pollard optic base rookie cards. It's a little strange, all things considered. When you really look at all the different markets, the Cowboys should have a huge fan base in the hobby. The numbers don't really show it.
Maybe that premium isn't quite what it once was. And I'm thinking this in my mind.
I think
they haven't won in so long. That's probably why.
They're just waiting. The Cowboys haven't had that ultra modern prospect yet, but I wouldn't be surprised to see some Emmitt Smith cards get some super high end love sooner than later.
Yeah, I love his score rookie.
Oh, yeah,
that blue border.
I go to his Football Reference and it's nothing but black ink. All the times he led the league in rushing touchdowns and yards, and it's impressive. He might be a little underrated.
Well, I want to close this week by asking you guys this. We talked about the best cards of the top 12 fantasy quarterbacks. We're all right in the heat of fantasy football season and draft season. I tell you've got to take one quarterback. They're all available, but you have to take a quarterback with your next pick. Who's your number one quarterback pick in fantasy from this list this year?
Can we have duplicate answers here? Or are we?
We're making up the rules as we go. That's fine.
It's Mahomes. It's Mahomes 7 days a week. He is going to light the fantasy world on fire the same way he has for the last several seasons. And depending upon how your league scores too. Yeah. Some leagues give 6 points for passing touchdowns. Most only give 4. So that's going to depend as well. I'm in one league that now this year is giving 6 points per throwing touchdown. So that skews Mahomes as well, but just he's not only he may not be the highest upside. If Lamar Jackson rushes for 20 TDs or something, I mean, but Mahomes is the highest floor plus ceiling plus high ceiling potential combination that to me is a no-brainer.
I prefer auction leagues, but thinking of just like a round by round fantasy football draft, there's not a single league where I'm going to have Hurts or Mahomes or Josh Allen or even Burrow, because they're going to be going way too high. The best value so far in all the mocks that I've seen, I really like taking Trevor Lawrence quite late. He's falling. And then sometimes in that Justin Fields, Justin Herbert zone, sometimes those linger a little bit. But if I don't get one of the main guys, I'm grabbing probably a combination of Anthony Richardson because of the high upside. And then someone who I think was the 5th best quarterback in football last year from a fantasy football points perspective, Geno Smith. You can grab him super, super late. There's a bunch of guys too, like Brock Purdy, you can get in the last round. So if I'm not getting one of those like middle tier people at a really good value, there's a ton of great quarterbacks in the league right now. And lots of fun players to have on your fantasy squad.
I like that. I'm I can't stop thinking about the Jalen Hurts Super Bowl performance on the offense. The rich only got richer. Like if we're just going straight up draft and I have to take a quarterback and he's there and none have been taken, you combine the points from on the ground and through the air. I think that's who I'm rolling with.
Yeah, you go ahead. I'll take Chris Olave or Jalen Waddle. You know,
I should point out, I'm not like, I have like a rule that I never draft a quarterback before like the 7th or 8th round. I never do. And I end up really rolling the dice every year.
I love to take a QB high. I've been doing it for the last few years. And, sometimes I think the projections on ESPN.com's fantasy, the difference between Mahomes and the 10th best quarterback is about 100 points in a PPR league, in a full PPR league. That's the same as the distance between the number 1 running back and like the number 30. Right, the gap between Mahomes and his peers, the only other position that really rivals it is Kelsey. Kelsey's like 80 points above Andrews as the 2nd best guy. So I like the gap. If I can get a huge positional advantage with a gap, I'll move up to get it.
I have a confession. So tight end, I'm all in on Darren Waller this year. But I've taken Kyle Pitts in like every single league for the last 2 years. And I know that I'm not going to take him this year, and I know he's going to go off. So I want everybody else to enjoy it. Draft Kyle Pitts. I can't do it for the 3rd straight year and get burned, but this is the year. It has to be the year.
I've watched him go way too high in every draft the last 2 years. So to be fair, I've already made that mental note as my drafts begin this weekend to look for him a little bit lower than the last few years for the value perspective. So, well, this was a fun one. Talking football cards, talking football, fantasy football season right around the corner. Thanks for joining us here on Hit Draft on the PSA Pod. For Jack Archer and Chris McGill, I'm Ryan Green. We will talk to you again next time.